was a quaint two-story cabin with an open living space, a compact kitchen, and a loft bedroom accessed by a spiral staircase. The cabin sat at the end of a long gravel driveway, surrounded by dense woods and a crystal-clear lake. The nearest neighbor was half a mile away, making it the ideal retreat for solitude. After a month of living there, I had settled into a routine. I spent my days working remotely, and my evenings were filled with reading and watching movies. The isolation was soothing, a stark contrast to the chaos I had left behind. One evening, after a particularly long day, I made myself a quick dinner and settled into bed with my laptop, planning to stream a movie until I fell asleep. The night was unusually quiet, with only the occasional rustling of leaves outside. As the movie played, I found my eyes growing heavy. Just as I was about to drift off, I heard it. A faint, rhythmic tapping sound coming from downstairs. My heart skipped a beat. It was too deliberate to be the wind or an animal. I paused the movie and listened intently. The tapping continued, slow and steady. Gathering my courage, I crept out of bed and tiptoed to the top of the spiral staircase. The living room was dark, the only light coming from the moon filtering through the windows. I hesitated, then whispered, "Hello?" The tapping stopped abruptly, plunging the house into an eerie silence. I felt a chill run down my spine. I waited, hoping it was my imagination. But then I heard it again. This time, it was the sound of footsteps, soft but unmistakable, moving towards the staircase. My heart pounded in my chest as I backed away, keeping my eyes fixed on the darkened living room below. I rushed back to my bed and grabbed my phone, but it was dead. I cursed under my breath, remembering I had forgotten to charge it. I was completely alone, with no way to call for help. The footsteps stopped at the base of the staircase. I held my breath, straining to hear any other sounds. After a few agonizing moments, I decided to act. I grabbed a heavy flashlight from my bedside table and positioned myself at the top of the stairs, ready to defend myself. Just as I took a step down, the silence was shattered by a loud, banging knock on the front door. I jumped, nearly dropping the flashlight. "Who is it?" I called out, my voice trembling. No answer. I took a deep breath and cautiously descended the stairs. As I approached the front door, I could see a dark figure standing on the porch through the frosted glass. My hands shook as I reached for the doorknob, but I hesitated. Something felt off. "Who are you?" I demanded. Again, no response, just the heavy silence. I took a step back, trying to decide what to do, when suddenly the figure moved away from the door and disappeared into the night. I quickly locked the door and checked all the windows, making sure they were secure. I spent the rest of the night huddled on the couch, the flashlight clutched in my hand, jumping at every creak and groan the old house made. Morning couldn't come soon enough. When the first light of dawn broke through the windows, I finally felt a semblance of safety. Exhausted, I packed a bag and decided to leave the cabin for the day. As I was locking up, I noticed something strange. On the porch, where the figure had been standing, was a small wooden carving of a man with a twisted, sinister smile. I shivered and tossed it into the woods before driving away. I spent the day in town, trying to shake off the eerie feeling. When I returned to the cabin that evening, I found the front door slightly ajar. Panic surged through me as I stepped inside. The living room was just as I had left it. But there, on the coffee table, was the wooden carving I'd thrown away. I didn't stay another night. I packed up my belongings and left the cabin for good. When I returned the keys to the landlord, he seemed unfazed by my hurried departure. I asked him if he knew anything about the carving or the person who'd been at the house. He simply shook his head and mumbled something about local legends and old superstitions. To this day, I don't know who or what was at the Lakehouse that night. But sometimes, when I'm alone in my new apartment, I still hear that faint, rhythmic tapping in the back of my mind, and I can't help but wonder if it's coming for me again.